For my article, I've chosen to turn around and read the article, Kenneth Mincom's Reforming Harvard, Cotton Mather on Education at Cambridge. Um, he's sitting there talking about this article that Cotton was really putting a emphasis on the type of education people were getting, or rather not getting, at the time at Harvard. He goes on to sit there and he puts up a 12-point letter, and he calls it Important Points Relating to the Education at Harvard College, Needful to be Inquired into, Prepared and Humbly Offered by some who have newly passed through the first 4 years of their being there. He wants to sit there and talk about what it means to sit there and be a Harvard graduate, to be able to say that when they exit, they have gotten the best education, the most upstanding and moral education that they possibly could. At this point, he has heard a lot of different things about the young men not being morally acceptable into society. Throughout here, he points out things such as constant cussing. He points out that they are bringing decks of cards into the school, that they are gambling. This, of course, goes against what the church has been preaching about. So here he is, he's laying out a 12-point system that says, hey, we need to sit there and make sure that we are doing everything that we can to make sure that they get the best education, that they become the upstanding young men that we know that they can be. Now, we are not producing anything but the best. He goes back and forth writing a couple articles here, back and forth with another gentleman. But then he says, it's just not getting through to people. So what I need to do here is try another approach. I need to sit there when my son goes to college, I need to sit there and put him through Harvard, and he needs to present a letter of which we will have 7 points addressing the type of moral character that he has. This is important because he believes that through this letter that he is going to show what type of a young man that he has raised, having the moral fiber of the day. Through this 7 points, he's going to address it to the point where he wants to become the next president of Harvard, such as like his father was. So he wants to sit there and address this and say, guys, this is what we need to do. This is what I will do as your president. Unfortunately, he continues to get passed over multiple times for being president, to the point where he's like, okay, if we can't do this, then we need to find another institution to turn around and raise these young men. But he does not go down without a fight. One of the things that really stands out throughout the article is the way the young men are being trained. He finds this to be such a heartfelt struggle that he wants to sit there and ensure that these people get the right education that they have. He goes on to say this in several other writings, one of which I found inside of David Citron's writings. He says, many Puritan children as they grew failed to testify to an experience of divine grace despite the fact that they had been baptized as infants. Because they could not relate testimonies of regeneration that conformed to expected conversion morphologies, they were denied full church membership and access to the Lord's table. This issue became even more acute when these young people grew up, married, and decided to baptize their children. Since only church members were allowed this privilege, many children were unbaptized and church membership numbers declined. He wants to ensure that the numbers of children do not decline and that they are ready and accessible for the next generation.